Okay, now it seems to work. Okay, so this is a training mission I did with my wingman earlier tonight, and he seemed to have a little bit of difficulty getting the bombs on targets with CCIP. It was mainly to practice dropping 6 Mark 82s on a target, followed by a flight to the orbit area here, and then coming back to attack another one of the targets with CBU 87s. The targets are all trucks with a little bit of infantry. It's just training. So I had put 7 waypoints just to make it a bit random. I could choose whichever one of the 7 waypoints. They're all pretty much the same targets. And then I would tell him to go attack his target. I could attack some of the other ones as well. So it serves as a pretty good training, and you get lots of different possibilities to attack targets. And you can fly away. You have a waypoint for that, and then you can come back and realign, and that was causing a few issues. There are some clouds in the mission, not too many, but that can hurt the visibility a little bit, so that's part of the challenge. But here what I'm going to try to show is how you can use your helmet mounted display to spot the little lozenge on the ground, which is usually indicated when you place a waypoint at 0 altitude, and that can help you to move in on the target and drop your bombs fairly accurately depending on what dive angle you choose. What's nice compared to last night's video that I did with the Mirage F1 is that in the F-16 the computer in the plane calculates everything for you, so it makes it much easier for someone like me. But I can understand that for others CCIP can be a bit challenging, so I'll try to do a little bit of a training video here. So here we have different planes. I'm going to change the first one here. So just to show you a little bit, this is the plane we'll be flying. It's a Hellenic Air Force F-16C. We've got a load of 6 Mark 82s and 2 CBU 87s. And so that's what we're going to be using for this training. So just quickly here, I like to go set my ripple. I'm going to start with the Mark 82s. Set a ripple of 6, and then a spacing of roughly 70. There we go. And then here I can set my lights to steady. It is a training mission, so we're not in a wartime situation. So we can set these things up. This is already set up because we started hot. I'm going to turn my nose wheel steering on. And I know we're not supposed to do that, but because I forget, I like to turn my master arm on the ground. And so without further ado, I guess we can go taxi, take off, go attack some targets. Airborne, gear up. And so just for fun, for this mission, we're going to go with steer points 5 and 6, which are not necessarily close together. So I'll start with 5. And if I turn my helmet mounted display on like this, as I'm climbing and slowly turning towards the target, I can spot where the lozenge is. I can see it right there looking out the side window. So I don't even have to be flying towards it. to know where it is. Of course, I could point the nose straight at it, but then I wouldn't be gaining altitude. So let's say we do it on the other side. I can continue climbing up to, let's say, Angel's 10 like this, but at the same time I can look outside, can even zoom in and spot, oh look, there are a few trucks here on the ground, exactly where the lozenge is. And so you can see now that I'm getting close to the target. I'm about 4 miles out. I can switch to air to ground and CCIP. Again, looking outside, I can judge, okay, they look like they're next to that road. So I'm going to roll in the plane, just like that. Bring it towards the target. And now I line up the whole sight towards it. Zoom in. Now we can't see the circle yet, but as I dive, you can see it moving up towards the target. Just have to bring the lines toward those trucks and pickle, hold the button, pull the stick, move out. What does it look like? Looks like that. They're all hit. Nothing left there. And so as I said earlier, we can head for steer point 8, which is right there in front of us. And so we'll head out to sea. And as we're heading out, we can arm the next bombs, which are the CBUs. Now I like to have a little bit of a bigger spacing for the CBU, so I'll set them to 150, enter. And here we only have 2 bombs, so if we want to do it properly, we could set the ripple to 2. 150. Again, we're in CCIP. Be able to drop the bombs where the pipper will point. And so I can remove the air-to-ground mode if I want to use this screen here to help me navigate. And as you can see here, I'm coming up on the waypoint. I can actually look at it with my helmet. It's right here. I just flew past it. So that means I'm about 10 miles from the targets. And we said that the second target was going to be waypoint 6. So I'm turning around towards waypoint 6. You can see my steer points here. It says 6. I've changed that. And it looks like this one is a little bit higher up in the mountains there. So again, if I continue flying straight at it like this, you can see that it's at -5 degrees. So if I went straight for it like that, I would not get a very deep angle. And you can see here there are clouds in front of me. So let's say I want to go in that area to avoid the clouds. I can do that. I'll put the noise there. And then with my helmet mounted display, what's nice is I can actually see the area where the target is, and I can determine where the hole in the clouds is. So I can still continue to look at the target. The game gives it to me. That helmet mounted display is a godsend, especially when you have a track IR like this. And so I can look, and I can even tell that the trucks are lined up in that direction. So I could say, hey, I want to line up to drop my bombs with these trucks. So I'm going to go back to my air-to-ground mode. I'll check my distance. Usually about 4 miles is good. And then we can head towards the target. We're sort of lined up with them. We'll bring the pipper up to the target. It's just a question of putting the line on it, letting the line and the circle get to where they need to go. I'm at 5,000 feet. I'm dropping my bombs. They should have time to open, no problem. And we'll get to see like the nice cluster effect on the ground. Blah, 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 blah. Nothing left there. And that, my friends, is how you do CCIP in the F-16.
Altitude. Altitude.
Not much left there, is there? Nope. All the trucks are on fire. And so then it's just a question of heading back to base after a victory roll like this. There we go. So I hope you enjoyed. So we can see that with our Mark 82s, we hit a bunch of trucks, a bunch of infantry. And then with our CBUs, hit a bunch of trucks, a bunch of infantry. That takes care of that. Hope you enjoyed.